It has been asked of me to write a to give a short tutorial of how my API scripts work in my campaign. Well, I have several macros. Some of the macros are just default Roll20 macros, but like this one. For example, I have crit and fumble decks, and sometimes you need to have random elements in those. For that, I have made tables. But most of the other macros I have here, like this one, use my API scripts. To add the API scripts, go to your script editor and just add one of them. And the code of my API script, you'll find it in the description, or you can find it here. Just this file. Now to the functionality of my API script. It consists of several parts. One of them is a turn tracker, and it has the commands !toggle layer. When you have selected a token, it will toggle it between the token layer and the GM layer. It's easy to add all your monsters on the GM layer, select them all, click on the toggle layer macro, and they just shift to the correct layer so that your players can see them. If you look at my toggle layer macro, it is simply the !toggle layer command. Then there's order, that just reorders the visible turn tracker. Nothing more to it. Just the empty values go on the bottom, and the numbers are ordered by value. EOT is end of turn. You can either it's advised to use this one over the arrow on the turn tracker, because this one also updates the round tracker. In it creates the initiative order. It just takes all of the tokens that represent players and take their stat named initiative. So for example, if I go to where my players are, you'll see that they are the tokens here represent a character. And if I go to the character, you'll see in its attributes that it has an attribute called initiative with a value of 8. It will just roll a d20 plus that value and add it to the initiative tracker. Now for things that do not represent players, like Ameko here, well, she wouldn't be added. Because see this red value here, that's bar 3. And it does not have a value. However, if we go take a look at my tokens map, you'll see that all the monsters here have initiative values programmed in. So the diseased rat has initiative +2, the Gastaff has initiative +4, Iesha has initiative +7, etc. So it will just take all the tokens that are represented by that represent people or characters and use their initiative value. And if they do not represent characters, it will just take the value of bar 3. As you can see, the red bar is indeed bar 3. You do not need to set a maximum. If this is blank, it does not add them. So if you want to have a bonus of 0, you need to explicitly add 0. So how this would work is, if I click on Start Combat, it will start combat, in this case, with everything that is on this page. Like this. Note that in this case, because of the huge amount, the turn ordering didn't work. So usually that doesn't happen because, well, there aren't that many. Then there's the clear command. That's just !clear. I have not made a macro for that because I can type !clear. I did make a macro for end of turn. So let's go to a more realistic scenario. Well, let's just roll initiative for the players. If I click Start Combat, They will be added and ordered, as you can see. And if I click add end of turn, that turn ends. And that signifies that round 2 starts. And it will go back to the bottom with round 2 changed for round 3. And it will say in the chat, hey, round 2 has happened. This is useful if you need to track things that take a certain amount of rounds. Then I have a template manager. You either type T followed by some parameters or template followed by some parameters. This does require a bit of a few tokens on one of your maps. It will look for tokens named by these names. You can just the name should be should be obvious. This, for example, is the cone, a 15-foot cone diagonal. This is the 15-foot cone orthogonal, 30-foot, 30 orthogonal, 60-foot cone, 60-foot orthogonal, and then 5, 10, 15, 20, and 30 and 40 burst. So if you add them anywhere on your layer, remember to give your players control over them. For example, I have them here in the templates map. As long as they have those names, as you can see here, they will be found. Using the command is also pretty easy. So let me go back to Rusty Dragon to show you. You can either select nothing and just type T, and it'll say you the command. For example, I want a 15-foot burst, so I would type 15 burst, and it will spawn it in the top left of the map. You can just delete it because it's a copy. However, if you have something selected, let's take a 20-foot burst this time, it will spawn it on top. You will still need to align it though, because that's how bursts work. Same thing goes with cones. They are spawned here again because I did not have anything selected. Do note though that if you spawn the cones, it will spawn both of them. You can just rotate them to what you need. Next, I have a card manager. You might know the API script for 4th edition that has power cards. Well, this is something like that, except it's less powerful but easier to expand. There are 3 commands. Level up is a convenience command. If I type level up, it will just give you the level up checklist. It's simply a convenience command. There's a scroll command. This one is for scroll scribers. For example, if I want to if I want to write a scroll for a 3rd level spell, and I want to make the scroll at caster level, say 5, and it is a spell that has material costs of 50 gold, it would cost that much, and it would take 2 hours to make. Note, it also gives you the spellcraft DCs to succeed or to half the time. This is correct. It uses the formula given in the book. The last one is card, and that's the most complicated one. It also does not give you... Oh, it does. It gives you instruction on how to use it. You can create a card with the default color and give it a title, and then 1 line of text, maybe another, and it will upload it like that, output it like that. However, it's also possible to change the color of the title, and to do that, you just insert the color in before the title. So for example, if I wanted it red, I would type R. I could also do green. And if you really want to, you can go advanced. You can do hash. For example, I want a black bar. That's just the hex code for black. And that will output a black box. Now, the title text still remains white. So what happens if you take a white box? The title is invisible. For that, you can add a semicolon followed by the code you want for your text color. These are just default color codes as you would use them in CSS or HTML. There are also a few style commands. For example, if I wanted to have a title which has a line break, that would be underscore underscore br underscore underscore. And then I wanted to have a small text s underscore underscore s underscore underscore. And then I wanted to have the name of the person that activated the script. So name. And then to end small, es. And the rest continues as normal. I want to have one line. And that would do that. I could also do bold text, B. And again, and B. B for bold, EB for and bold. And I could, for example, I could even possibly insert a die roll here. So say I want 1d20, that's not t, 1d20 plus 7. Now I have a attack roll script. See? With the attack in bold. The code explains the different styling codes there are. You can look in the send formatted function here at the top to see how it replaces them. You have B and EB for bold, C and EC for center, I and EI for italics, S, ES for small, U, EU for underline, underscore underscore name underscore underscore for the message sender, underscore underscore BR underscore underscore for a line break. And the most important thing is you always need to split the different parts with 3 vertical pipes. 3 vertical pipes would, in this case, means start a new section. And a new section has a different color, as you saw here. This is section 1, this is section 2. Next, there are some convenience functions for rolling. Blind roll works exactly like the /r command, /roll command, and you can do the exact same text in it. So I could do that, a blind roll. Now, as you can see, it sends a message back to the roller, back to the sender, that your roll was sent to the GM. However, it does not tell you your result. This is why this is a blind roll. You get to do the roll, but only the GM gets to see the result. Now, since I'm also the GM, I, of course, get the result as a whisper from myself. VS is very simple. It's a versus roll. I use it, for example, here. The syntax is !VS, then the modifier on a D20 you want to roll. Note, a VS roll can only do D20s because that's what opposed rolls in Pathfinder use. For example, this would roll a 1d20 plus 4 and compare it against, let's say the DC you want to get is 15. And then after that you could say what the thing is that you're rolling against. So let's say it's for strength. See? I have styled it as monster attack because that's what I use it for, but you could easily change it in the code to say something else. Monster damage is very simple. You type exclamation point monster damage and then the damage. So there. Note that monster damage will also tell you what you are targeting. Also, again in the VS one, it has a green bar on top if it's a miss, and a red bar on top if it's a hit. So it tells you if it hit or miss. A is an attack roll, and D is a damage roll. These are meant for players. So, for example, if Elgo here if Grimetier wanted to make a swing with his great axe, that would be 1d20 plus, I don't know, 9, I think. Oh, that was a good roll. And that's his 2 hit. And of course that would be a hit. Then he would do D, damage. And damage would be done like so. Again, exclamation point D and then the damage. And that's 22 points of damage. Really easy. Then the last one are the crit and fumble decks. These are the official Pathfinder decks that are released under the open game license. I have changed the text in some of them to reference the core rulebook and such instead of the Dungeon Master Guide of 3.5. So this is easier to use for people that do not own the old books. They function quite like the cards. So you could do crit, and it'll just tell you what the options are. You just do crit, space, and then the type. So, for example, I make a piercing crit. So I would type crit. P is enough in this case because the shortest string that is not possible to confuse with another string is accepted. So in this case it would be B, P, S, or M, or bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, or magic, or you can shorten the words. That's what the point is. So this is one of the results. For the fumble, you would do fumble, and fumbles work slightly different. You have melee, ranged, natural, and magic fumbles. Note that because melee and magic both start with an M, you cannot do FM. That's impossible. See, you fumbled the command. FM, you would need to M for melee and Ma for magic. So if I wanted to do a magic fumble, that's the effect. If there's random things that can be rolled, it will be done automatically for you. And those are all the commands. The most important parts to make my scripts work is that you absolutely need to have a tokens map. A templates map. And you need to have the templates with these exact names. They are in the code, but I will scroll around so that you can see them. And for the turn tracker to work, rule number 1, do not have so many tokens that keep it reasonable. If the turn tracker, for some reason, like here, see it's out of order, you could type order to fix it manually. Now it's fixed. That's why the order command is there. Well, I need to make the round 2 marker go down. That one also always needs to be the last. If there's any message, if there's any questions about it, feel free to send me a message, and I'll post an updated video to make those questions clear. Thanks for watching.